Tricia, Research Manager at Immerse.
I'm Christina, Curriculum and Assessment Manager at Immerse.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots, Converse on the Verse. This show is all about diving into the pedagogy and efficacy behind Immerse, the first virtual reality language learning platform designed specifically for live language teaching and learning.
In this episode, we look at our learning journey with Product Manager DK. I hope you enjoy today's episode.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. This week, as you heard, we're going to be talking about our learning journey in Immerse and how learners can track their progress in our platform. And we actually have our first special guest on this podcast, DK. He is our product manager at Immerse, so we're really excited to have him.
Happy
Welcome,
to be
DK.
here.
Yes,
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you.
Okay, welcome.
So we're going to be asking him some questions about his role, kind of how he came to Immerse, what is the learning journey? I hear it referenced all the time. So I want to know from him and Christina what it actually is. And then, we'll just break it all down for you. So DK, tell me, what does it mean to be product manager at Immerse?
That is not an easy question to answer. I know both of you as well wear a lot of hats, and part of being product manager is the same thing. So I think, the fun job of being able to be a mediator between teams. So obviously I work with our product team the most, which involves our VR engineers, our web engineers, but it also means consolidating and sharing information with education teams, with marketing teams, with really anyone who needs to know what product is doing. So I get to jump between teams every day, transfer information and make sure all the information is captured and ultimately delivered in the final product.
Very cool. So how did you come to Immerse? Do you have a background in VR?
I don't. So I've been in product for about 7 years. I was at my last company and I wanted to move on to something else that was in this field. And I got really lucky. And one of my old mentors actually knew Jacob, one of the other members of our product team. And so I got connected with him, started chatting, and, it's hard not to fall in love with Immerse and the mission that we have.
Right.
So very quickly fell in love with Immerse, continued talking to Jacob, found an opportunity, and got slotted in. So honestly, very lucky, and I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, and I feel like
Awesome.
you've been here for a while, but I don't know if it's just because everything moves so quickly at the company. But I feel like you've been here for a year, but
I was actually reflecting on that this morning when I was thinking about this, and I started in January, so it hasn't been a
oh my
year yet,
gosh.
but
Okay.
I know it feels like I've been here for maybe 2 years, and not in like a bad way. It's like, time flies when you're having fun, and every week it's like, wow, another week down. It's crazy how fast it moves.
Yeah, it does feel like so much longer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Christina and I
Absolutely.
talk about that a lot.
We do. That's one thing we talk about all the time on our podcast, how fast we move. And yeah,
So
excellent.
I guess I'll transition us to the topic, the whole reason why we're here. DK, I feel like every week in Monday Huddle, which is our Monday meeting that we have to kick off the week, but I feel like I hear everyone always referencing the learning journey, the learning journey.
Mhm.
So I guess this is a question for you and Christina, because I know y'all been collaborating on this, but what is the learning journey?
Oh
Go
gosh.
ahead, Deacon.
Gosh, I'll be much better to explain what it's like for the end user. So I'll do my best on this front end, and maybe Christina, you can fill in gaps for me. But yeah, it is what it sounds like, honestly. So obviously, with the learning app, we want to give our members the ability to see their journey to fluency. Our main goal with Immerse is to give people the ability to reach fluency in whatever language or languages that they're trying to learn. So the learning journey is the visualization and the fun, excitement, challenge of that journey to fluency. So previously, we obviously had classes and all these great offerings, but it was harder to see what steps you needed to take to get to that end goal. And the learning journey is our attempt at solving that problem, and not just making it like a syllabus or, a course guide, but really making it fun. And VR is such a unique platform where we get to play with 3D space, and kind of break the laws of physics with fun things, right? So we're trying to take the learning journey path to fluency and make it something really fun that you can interact with in a 3D world.
Excellent. So I have a question on that actually. So you said visualization, which I love that word. I love that word. So from a user perspective, what's that going to look like for them?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of ways that it will look to our end users. I think the main one is, you guys may have talked about this already, but we have fluency levels. So you may come in at what we would call a foundations level, which is really our lowest level. And if you come in, we're going to introduce you to language functions. And language functions, again, Christina's really the expert here, but language functions are these categorical definitions of things you can, become proficient in or practice in within your language that you're learning to really grow in your fluency. So that what we've done is our homeroom, which is really your hub. So homeroom is your place where you can jump into any experience in Immerse. It's you can have your settings, your classes, events, whatever it is. That is your main space. So in your homeroom, you will have a visualization. It'll be on the floor where you can actually see your progress within your fluency level of each of those categories. So on the floor, I may see it's kind of like a pie chart if you think about it like that, and you'll have different slivers of the pie that represent language functions in your fluency level. And each of those will have a progress bar showing how far you're progressing in those language functions, showing how much you're getting closer to completing what we would say is the foundations level for a language. And so with those, you can earn points, and that's where we can have a little bit more fun. So when you earn points, there'll be a really cool celebration animation like, hey, great job, you did this class, you earned this many points in this category, only this many more points to go. And then when you complete it, we have, I don't want to spoil everything for people who haven't experienced it yet, but when you complete it, you'll have more celebrations, and we have a special stamp that you can earn, which is kind of like this milestone, this achievement that immortalizes I completed giving facts at the foundations level, and I can review this, show it off, and whatever that is. So we want to make a lot of that fun. And I think a lot of the magic in this comes from one, a really cool visualization that you can kind of interact
Mhm.
with and hear and read more information on, but also the animations and celebrations you can get when you accomplish things. And it's really fun to play around with things like that in a 3D space to celebrate that way.
Well, that's awesome. I think you're on your way to becoming a language teacher. You know your language functions. So
Thanks to you. I mean, I've looked at them so many times that I now get her.
you're a
No,
little tired of them, right?
I'm
No,
impressed by your
no.
breakdown, DK.
I am too. That was you verbalized that oh so well. So from I know that you're a gamer and that
Oh,
you're
yes.
really that you're really engaged in various platforms. So, and Trish's done tons of research in this already, but from your perspective as a user, what's the value in like all those celebrations? Like what does that do for you as a user?
Yeah. That's a great question. I'm gonna have to, like, contain my nerd self to, like, not go off the rails here, but yeah,
Okay,
I mean
that's not language. So you don't have anything to talk about your nerd self.
yeah, I love video games, always have, been playing games since I can remember. So, I think every game developer knows that you wanna create cycles, loops, habits that bring people back. What are the things that the user, the member, the player can invest into the game that then rewards them in some way that makes them feel like they're accomplishing something and that's exciting and enough of like a dopamine hit of like, "Yes, I accomplished this thing. I'm so motivated to continue moving because 'cause I've accomplished this thing." And I think what's so fun about language learning is there are very obvious goals to fluency. There is that path, and this level breakdown is a very obvious representation of that. And with gaming, any modern game you see at least any modern game that's uh, uh, popular or trendy or whatever it is, have what would typically be called as an achievement system, right? So you do this many things of a certain task, and you get some sort of achievement. And in some games that looks like a skin that you get to have, an
Mhm.
outfit to change, or maybe it's, those of you that play like Animal Crossing, you can change the way your home is decorated. There's, infinite possibilities. So we're blending those two things of someone on that path to fluency and doing something that is very, curriculum focused, research focused, very driven with all the, things you guys put so much thought into, but incorporating the fun of achievements so that you can feel like each step of the way in bite-sized blocks. Like, okay, I accomplished giving facts. I get this achievement, this celebration, this representation of that accomplishment that feels really exciting because instead of just saying I'm starting at point A and point B being fluency is so far away, like getting there feels really hard. But if we have those milestones of achievements, it's super fun. Every few steps you take towards the end of that tunnel is like, yes, I did these few steps. I'm really excited about the progress, and that alone is motivation to move to the next and the next and the next. And the next thing you know, you've accomplished all these things. You have a list of achievements that you can show off and celebrate, and you've become fluent in the process, which, it's a really fun thing to do.
One
Awesome. Tricia, go ahead. I think you have a
I
question.
have
Yeah.
I have a question, but I already know the answer, but I wanna ask it for our listeners. One of the things I really like about how we've designed our whole learning journey and gamification system is it's flexible. So it's not like other apps
Mhm.
where you get in and it's like, this is the module you have to complete first, and then right after that, you're
Right.
doing this, and right after that, you're doing this, right? Like, they can decide, "Okay, here's my pie chart, and what
Mhm.
class do I wanna take? Which sliver do I wanna focus on?" So there's nothing they're not forced to go through a specific sequence, and I know Christina did that intentionally, and I know the
Mhm.
reason why, but I want her to explain to everyone why we chose to do it that way, because I think it's different than a lot of other
It is
platforms.
different.
It's not what you typically see.
Yeah, great question. I think we talked about this briefly in one of our
Mhm.
previous podcasts, but it's all about learner autonomy. And as an adult learner, we want to make choices. We know I need to learn this. All I need is this. And, maybe I'm going to travel. So I want to get through the airport. I want to go to the coffee shop and order a coffee. I want to have a meal in another country. So, adults are really good about making good learning choices.
Mhm.
And so if we put them on this linear path, they lose motivation. It's kind of like the gamification pieces that DK was talking about. It's just another way to motivate adult learners from a pedagogical standpoint, right? So, yeah, great question. Well, I can't tell you how awesome this was. DK, you were the best first guest ever.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for
This
joining
was
us.
thank you
Yeah,
for
thank you
yeah,
guys.
this was a
Yeah.
this was a lot of fun, and there was also a lot of learnings that I think a lot of takeaways that our listeners can walk away with, right? So thank you again, and we really appreciate all our listeners, and we'll be back next week.